Hello again, Generation 1 Transformer fans and collectors. This is Sparkster1701, and today I'm going to show you off one of my earliest Throttlebots. This is the Autobot Surveillance Unit, Searchlight. Now, Searchlight would be available in 1987 only. He would be discontinued in 1988, and his function would be taken over by the Pretender Catilla. Searchlight was part of a new gimmick that started up in 1987. In the previous year, 1986, was the last year we would see ordinary mini-vehicles for the Autobots. Characters like Bumblebee, Cliff Jumper, Power Glide, Sea Spray, Wheelie, and all them would be phased out in favor of having gimmicky mini-vehicles as the low-price figures. And the Throttlebots started that trend by having pullback motors in them. All 6 of them feature a pullback motor that is accessible in both their robot and alternate modes. We'll demonstrate now that he does have access to it by having him charge towards the camera here. We just pull him back a little. Try that again. Motor must not be working too great. There, now it works. And now we'll put him back. Well, it is a cute little feature that definitely did improve playability by having it more usable in the robot mode. It does tend to hurt his articulation, as basically the closest he gets is that you can bring his arms back a little bit, and he can lean back to some degree. Otherwise, that is it. He is a brick. But like I said, he kind of makes up for it in the fact that he can use his pullback motor function better than many of the others that came before them. Like, say, the Jump Starters or the Mail-Away Power Dashers. They basically would they could still roll across the floor in robot mode, but they were basically laying on their backs doing it, looking up at you as they went. Kind of loses the effect, folks. As for transforming Searchlight, he and the other Throttlebots all shared the exact same way to transform. You start by basically taking the trunk of their vehicle mode, raising it up, and clicking it into their head. And next, you would reach back here, grab the pullback motor, and pull it out further. Then just bring down the whole body of the robot until it clamps into place, and then fold the arms in. And now he forms a car. More specifically, Searchlight here is a Ford RS200 rally car, which kind of helps explain the extra row of headlights here on the front of his car mode. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll pull him back. Goes a little bit faster in the car mode, doesn't he, folks? As was typical with a lot of the mini-vehicle type toys that were basically the low-end price point figures on the market, Searchlight comes with no weapons or accessories. So you don't have to worry about loose parts so much, but like all the Throttlebots, the thing you might have to worry about the most is the trunk unit, as it is held in, as you can see there, by basically a couple of posts. So it really doesn't take much effort to shift them out and remove it. So on a technicality, you could call this part a loose part, but otherwise, that is it on him. You will not have any parts hunting to do for Searchlight or his buddies. So instead, we will move right along to his instructions, and I do happen to have his card backer here. This would be one of the later issued ones in 1987. as he has the ad for the decoys that were available at that time. So normally he would just fill up the space down here at his feet. This spot over here was for the little rubber decoy that he included. I promise you folks, someday when I have enough of them, I will show you the decoys here on this channel. That'll be a video for a day, but for now, that's a bit of pie in the sky. Right here on the back side, you'll immediately notice that it does not have the mural that they normally featured on the backs of the cards for that year. It just cuts to the chase on the instructions. So he would have been in car mode when you took him out of the box, out of this package. So shows to go ahead, pull him back, let him roll, then transform him, and then shows that you can pull the robot back and watch him roll. Then it goes into the rub sign, which, as you can see, is on the back of his head, or on the trunk of the car. Doesn't show up very well on camera, so you'll have to take my word for it that it still works on him. They show here about clipping the tech specs and an brief advert to clip the robot points, and as you can see, he was worth half a point. I guess half a point is better than no point. Alright, moving right along, we get down here to his tech specs. We have a picture of him which matches the picture on the front of the box, in front of his package. He's done up in red to indicate he's an Autobot. It lists him here as a Throttlebot and gives his name as Searchlight. His function is surveillance, and his motto is, "Seeing is, by itself, not enough for believing. A creature of the night, cruises the earth with the curiosity of a cat. Nothing is too insignificant or irrelevant to escape his notice. Quiet, serious, a loner. Top row of headlights equipped with stereoscopic digital video cameras, spectroscopic chemical analyzer, and radiation detector. Bottom lights can produce strobe effect, full color spectrum with blinding 10,000 watt brightness." Now, while it's interesting about him, it really doesn't go into too much detail about him himself. I mean, you get a couple of brief sentences about him, and then all it does is talk about his light features, but it doesn't go into anything else that he might have. It's said in the More Than Meets the Eye guides that Searchlight and the other Throttlebots use standard issue laser rifles as their weapons, instead of having any fancy guns like many of the other Transformers. Now we'll place the decoder here over the tech spec grid so we can see his stats, and it gives his strength as 3, his intelligence is 7, his speed appears to be a 5, his endurance is 8, his rank is 6, his courage is 4, firepower is 1, and his skill is 9. So he can do his job and has average brains, but since he's using a standard gun, he's not very damaging, and the lack of courage seems to be a misnomer for him. Now we get down to what do I think of him? Well, going by what little we're told of him, he's basically somebody that likes to cruise into areas during the night and watch everything that's going on around him. So in essence, he almost comes off as being the Transformer equivalent of Batman, in the sense of watching over everything, waiting for something to happen. But when you take a look at him being a white and very light blue car, the creature of the night bit kind of goes out the window. And with the mention of him being super attentive and whatnot, it does go against the fact that it does go kind of counter against his courage level with the fact that he's got such low courage. One wouldn't think that he would pursue much into anything that appears to be dangerous, as one would assume that would frighten him off a bit. So again, that also hurts his rep from the way the tech specs talk, as they seem to play him up being a bit more reliable, but if he's got such low courage, it's not going to take much to frighten him away from things. But what can I say? I keep a special place in my heart for him since he was my first Throttlebot, so I guess he's okay, but he's not going to be much more than a middle tier character at best, and that really is at best. And that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Autobot Surveillance Throttlebot Searchlight. If you liked the video, please thumbs up it here on YouTube, post a comment and subscribe down below, share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. This is Sparkster1701 saying catch y'all later.